All right, we're about ready to start. Willie Williams.
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay, I just want to make sure it's you. Dr. Castle, you there? Dr. Castle?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Would you give us the opening prayer, please?
Father God, we thank you. We magnify you and exalt you, God. Thank you for all of the participants, God, and we just thank you for your blessings that you will bestow upon us in each of the states, the cities, God. We ask that you will move expeditiously, God, and give us direction. Thank you for our leadership. We give you honor and glory in the precious name of Yeshua. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday, January 18th, 2025 phone call. The National Juneteenth Observance Foundation's its directors, members, and planners from around the country who is tasked with the mission to bring all Americans together to celebrate our common bond of freedom through the recognition, observance, education, and the historic preservation of Juneteenth in America, as determined by our founder and the late Reverend Ronald B. Myers Sr., MD, Doc Myers. Hey, listen, our mission statement is a task, in the highest regards of abilities of America. America is a country, the United States is a country that is gone through a lot of transitions, and we're going to go through another transition coming up again, right? And no matter what happens, this is the playing field that we got. And as true to ourselves, in the spirit of Juneteenth jazz, we have never adapted to any situation in America. We have improvised. We have used improvisation as the key tool to keep striving towards our goal of freedom and liberty. That's the tool that we do. That's the importance of Juneteenth jazz, right? It's never about acquiescence. It's not about giving up. It's not about compromise. But it's not. It's definitely about adaptability to a situation. It is completely improvisation. And the difference is that you make what you want out of what you were given. The epitome of, if you give me lemon, I'm going to make lemonade, I'm going to make sorbet, I'm going to get busy, okay? But I'm going to take whatever that is and I'm going to improvise and do whatever I got to do the best that I can to get forward. And that's the Juneteenth spirit, and that's where we're always have been at. That'll be the true goal when we reach the promised land, when we no longer have to improvise out of necessity, but just out of pure enjoyment. And that's why I love jazz music, and Doc loves jazz music. And the importance of Juneteenth jazz is that in itself, okay? All the time. It's never about accepting or adapting. It's all about improvising and keeping our own special flavor and culture. So, as we go forward over the next couple of days, over the next 2 years, let's go forward in harmony with love in our heart and make Juneteenth do what it really does, be the unifier. This is where the rubber comes to the road like that unification aspect, right? And opening and working with all Americans, not the ones that agree with us, not the ones that we like, not the ones that look like us, because that's not everybody, but to work with all Americans. And that will really work in this day, okay? And to accept that and to come to terms with that. You know, everything that America is about is tied in with us, right? Corporate America did not exist until after Juneteenth. All things Juneteenth, right? It didn't. Why? Because there was no 14th Amendment. And there wouldn't have been a need for a 14th Amendment without the 13th Amendment. And every corporation in America, every entity that's built in America is built off of what? Every entity is built off of what? Including Elon Musk and Donald Trump is built off of what? The 14th Amendment. Okay, so, Mo Fowler, Cheryl, Ambassador Cheryl Murphy. Let's welcome. Dr. Scott Wilson, greetings. Hey, Marilyn Rogers.
Hello, how are you? Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yep.
Okay, so first announcements. New calendars are available. If you have the agenda, there's a link to order your calendars. There's $3.25 for the first box of 100. So that will be $325 plus shipping, which we have got for $40 for 100 calendars. The calendars are heavy, but they're very well produced and very nice as usual. And they retail for anywhere from $10 to $20 for your calendar. A great opportunity for a fundraising event. The calendars this year and the samples of them are available at JuneteenthNation.com. You also have a link in it. They feature Black towns throughout North America. We say not just the United States because we reach into Black towns in Mexico and Canada, right? The Underground Railroad ended at Don, Canada, in the Dresden County with Josiah Henson's Don, the city, the town of Don. So when you got to the end of the Underground Railroad, you ended up with Josiah Henson. And he taught you how to read, taught you how to write, worked with William Stills and their family in Philadelphia, and tried to reunite you with your family if they came through on the Underground Railroad. So we reached to those little Africa, Nova Scotia, which were the first Black people relocated by the British after the end of the Revolutionary War. When the British lost, they took those people who were part of Lord Dunsmore Brigade and relocated them to Nova Scotia. So there's Black settlements in town, along with the Iroquois in Canada that have been there. We explored those. The Muskogeans who were never accepted defeat and were eventually ended up selling to Mexico. We located some of their towns and put those towns in there. So it wasn't just towns or the Black towns in Mississippi and Oklahoma, but in North America. So the calendar is a great event. We put some information up there, but it is an instigator for you to study and find about the towns and the communities that are in your state and area. And as I explained to some people, we have a list and a supplemental list, which I will be printing out, that will be coming from the Selby Minter in Greenville, Oklahoma, as soon as she gets back. We'll send that out as a preview to everybody. She's got a detailed list of over 96 Black communities in the Oklahoma network of towns. Far more than 66 that is listed officially. And she's been doing this research for over 25 years, being right there. So it's a great tool, a great event, and you can get it by either clicking on the link in the agenda under the calendars are available here, or by going to JuneteenthNation.com, click on calendars, and you can get to it. The first set of 100 is $3.25. Any other boxes after that are down to $2.25. We've already sent it to press. We've already made the first payment, so we need to get, I would say at a minimum, another 10 boxes sold in order for us to cover our initial program, and then we'll count what we got after that. After that, $2.25 a box, same amount of shipping fee. Same amount of shipping fee. If you get muted, press star to unmute yourself. and we can get back in. Good morning, Dr. Brown. Good afternoon.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
All right. Sign up for our YouTube channel. Yes, sign up for our YouTube channel. Search njof.org. And when you do that, you can click on the subscribe button and link. We will be streaming our meetings also to YouTube live coming up at the beginning of the month for Black History Month. So not only will people be able to jump in and get on the dial pad, you can also get to it on YouTube. And that will be an easier way for you also to go back and look at the Saturday meetings. You'll be able to go through and find them on YouTube. And then as we go forward, we will post some of the most memorable meetings that we've done on the YouTube channel. So we've got times when people like me actually bring on a Bobby Steele, the director of the USDA. We will put those up there also. So go to youtube.com with your login or not and search njof.org and then click on that channel, like and subscribe. There is also a link to a video, how Juneteenth became a national holiday. This is the video that should be elevated and promoted when people want to know. It is it's the only video that is up there with this depiction that has elected officials talking about who, what, when, where, and how, which is us. So as part of that mission of getting the accurate and complete story out, like our channel, njof.org, and subscribe to it and like the video of how Juneteenth became a national holiday. All right. Our theme for this year is Together We Ride, the Juneteenth Wave of Freedom and Liberty. And next Saturday, we should have some mock-ups with some T-shirts that will be delivered inside of the agenda. So if you don't have the agenda, if you're not getting the agenda, we did update the list. Please contact Communications, D. Evans. Make sure she has your accurate and primary email address, and we will get it updated so that you will be able to get this communications and be on deck with us. We will have some mock-ups added into that agenda. T-shirts, Together We Ride, the Juneteenth Wave of Freedom to Liberty. And we have a couple of really good ideas about Together We Ride. So look forward to that. If you have any suggestions or ideas that you want to on concepts for a T-shirt, let us know. You can also give that to DFs, and we should make sure that we get it to the right people.
Steve, can you repeat that again with the riding the wave, please?
Together we ride the Juneteenth wave of freedom to liberty. It's a sentence this year. Together we ride the Juneteenth wave of freedom to liberty. We've done rides, we've done the Juneteenth wave of freedom, we've done liberty before in our past themes. So for 160th, we kind of got them all combined together. Together we ride the Juneteenth wave of freedom to liberty. Hello, Dr. Preche.
How are you today?
Good morning.
This is a program that talks about early beginning for the conditions. And I'm trying to share.
Okay.
Do you have the handshake 160 on the T-shirts? Have you considered putting that on there?
Of course. Of course. And
How many names are going to be on the T-shirt? What's the names that are going to be on the T-shirt?
What?
with what names are going to be on the T-shirt, like the 160th. I know National Freedom Day, and what else is going to? What are the names on the T-shirt?
No, these are our Juneteenth T-shirts for June.
Okay.
That's for February. So we have hashtag ones, and together we ride the Juneteenth wave of freedom to liberty. So we have a couple artists that have been doing some concepts for that, some kids, and the manufacturer. They will have some mock-ups for that, so that we can get our T-shirts out and get them. You should be able to order them by, I would say, April. At this rate, we want to have them there together so you can order your Juneteenth T-shirts for April, by April. And maybe even order them in bulk so that we sell them and we can get them at a good price. So we're looking at finishing with the concept, getting production run done, and everything in March, and maybe even late March, you can start ordering T-shirts. But we want to do something really good for the 160th. Something that features, of course, National Juneteenth, Doc Myers, and whatever else we have on there. Not too busy, but pretty flexible. One a little official, one a little funky modern. So we're gonna have the same thing in a couple different variations. So our theme is Together We Ride, the Juneteenth wave of freedom to liberty. And this is the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth coming up this year. So our hashtag is Juneteenth 160. Hashtag, that means number sign, hashtag Juneteenth 160. All one word. So hashtags can be used when you tweet, message, email, website, post. You put the hashtag, which is the number sign, and then with no space, Juneteenth 160 there. When people search stuff, when they go to look for stuff, when they go to link things, they will see those posts, those listings, and know that it's all related to the same thing. So, hashtag 160 is how you can use that. If you post something on X, if you put in the tag, number sign, Juneteenth 160, that tag will be linked with other people that do it, even emails. If you post something on a website and they have a place for a tag, at the bottom of it, you put the number sign, Juneteenth 160. Then when the box, the search engines for Google, and Yahoo, and Bing, and everybody else goes out, they will find that hashtag and link it all together. And it becomes one great big happy family. Okay? That's our hashtag for this year, is Juneteenth 160. Any questions?
And Steve, what is the 160 for?
The 160 is, this is the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, after that. It's the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth this year. So, Juneteenth 160 is the hashtag. Okay? All right. If that is good and everybody got that, our next announcement is what we're going to be all about coming up in the future.
Oh, and Steve, and it is the 160th anniversary of the 13th Amendment, right?
Right, 160th. Well, let's go complete since we're there. It's the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth. The 160th anniversary of the 13th Amendment. It is the 5th anniversary of the federal holiday. And properly calculated, everybody, right here, accurately calculated, what we did in commemorative coin legislation, which was brought out from the slave codes of 1705, which established chattel slavery because of the doctrine, Party Secretary of Bentram, that means you are the status of your mother, right? Party Secretary of Bentram, they established that in 1705 until the 13th Amendment in Juneteenth in 1865 is 160 years. 160 years of former chattel slavery, from the slave code to 1705, where it's clearly established that says, because of the axiom, party secular ventrum, which means you are inherited status of your mother, you are now rectified slaves for life. That happened in 1705. Freedom from chattel slavery into chattel slavery came 160 years later with the 13th Amendment and Juneteenth. Better late than never. I'm glad I woke up, but I've been trying to get that point across. That's there. So the reparation is, they weren't really happy, but now they know they got a real number. It's not 400 years. We've been here for that long, but it wasn't. We didn't start out that long. So that's the other part of the history that we got to go. That's what Calvin and Pearson's story was all about. That's what Calvin and Doc kept trying to merge together. That's what we have to finish with that. Is African Landing Day. How they landed, not enslaved, but on a pirate ship. And how these people who landed there ended up owning white people, other Irish people. They owned them. And they owned land. And they owned other black people. It wasn't about race and it wasn't about color. The first person to be enslaved for life as an African who came off one of those ships was to another African for damaging his property. That goes to the British common law, which is the 13th Amendment. There shall be no slavery except for the front of the country. And the first person enslaved for life was because of that. That is the document of the 13th Amendment that we put out, that we're honoring on. So it's not what everybody thinks they made it seem to be in the 13th Amendment. The wording was used more than once in more than one document. So that's the story that they don't get. But as we keep going forward and we know the truth, we'll be free from the burden of the lie that we've been carrying, right? So to understand the true spirit of what something is to really conquer it. So Juneteenth 160, that hashtag has a lot to mean, has a lot to do this year. So and that's how we use it. All right, we have the Juneteenth Economics Group, which I am saying is taking off. Those people are participating. We really need for you to really step up and participate. That Juneteenth Economic Group meets on Tuesday nights about 7 o'clock Central Time. It's usually about 30 minutes. It's not much that we talk about, just to check on and see where everybody is at. We are in the month of January, so if you have not made your contribution in January, please get on it. You can join it by going to JuneteenthEconomics.com. Now, what is it that we're doing in the Juneteenth Economics Group? We are actually putting it to work. Cooperative economics. It means we have a group of 12 people that contribute $100 a month. And at the end of every month, or in the middle of every month, that's your contribution. One person is selected to receive that $1,200 everybody contributed in. Or they might elect, as I did, and so those people to leave that money in the pot as a buffer and make sure that we can make a buffer for anything that might go wrong, or an opportunity as an opportunity to make an investment in something else to increase our funds. This is a Canada, a Nigeria. This is what these are called in other countries. We've been using the Canada. The Nigeria is the West African form of it. I think we're going to work on that and addressing that. The Canada is the Latino form of that word. Maybe we might come up with something else. If this program works, we've seen evidence of it. So if you're in it, we have two groups. One group is $35 a month, another group is $100 a month. You're usually supposed to have your payments in by the 10th of the month so we can do this dispersal, right? Early on to whoever is picked up. And the group decides on that right now every month in the dinner group, right? We want to be able to do this and execute it for 1 year, go back and see, evaluate it, analyze what went good, what went wrong, what could be better, how we can find tweak it for our community, and make sure that it works. This is a component that is missing in our culture, in our community. It is in everybody else's communities, right? That's the reason why when you say you go into neighborhoods, you don't see black stores or black businesses on a small level in general, on a wide scale, as you might see other communities, because they pool their money and their resources together, right? And this is outside the purview. So if you go to JuneteenthEconomics.com, it has information on what we're doing and how we're doing by very reliable and reputable organizations which are studying this effectively around the world. I would say take that study as they present it. I don't know what their intentions to do with it, but I know that we can take that information and use it to our advantage. So if you want to join that group, if you want to be a part of economic, using Juneteenth as a vehicle for economic parity in America, that's Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time. And if you want to find out more, JuneteenthEconomics.com, all one word. Oh, Sherry Bailey. Good afternoon, Sherry. All right, National Freedom Day Committee is forming for the National Government Campaign. We meet again on Thursday, January 23rd. And in that meeting, we'll be talking about the program that we have to go along with the agenda for the Freedom Day campaign and how it's working, any help or suggestions that you have. As far as you want to be committed to National Freedom Day, we have that, and then one more meeting before the actual bell ringing program. So we're 2 weeks out from that. Actually, we'll probably be conducting our Saturday meeting from where I will be ringing the bell. So I've got a couple places that we're looking at in DC, in Sterling, and Leesburg. I'm not exactly sure. So when you come on that Saturday, you probably will be hearing a bell for the first minute and a half and then the program. So this is an event that we're going to, champion for more reasons than one. For those who don't know, Benita Benitez was mentored and tutored by Doc Myers going back to 2008. Doc held that working close. Our biggest hurdle, really, outside of the votes, to get to the votes on the floor, was dealing with legislative aid about National Freedom Day. They said, you already got National Freedom Day, why do you need Juneteenth? And we explained to them the reason why and the difference. And not only did we get the holiday, they gave us the Remember Corn Bill on top of it, which is being circulated on the Hill right now. And as soon as there's a switch over, we will have a bill number. So that's politics. Everybody wants to take credit. So it will be equally spread. The Biden administration would have signed the bill and made it a holiday. The Trump administration would have funded it. That's how it's going to play out, which is okay with us as long as it comes down that it's bringing all Americans together. So the National Freedom Day Committee will be ringing the bell on that, and to go along with that, we have a national campaign which the communications team will be working on. Yes, I kind of got that there. But the ideal is to have recordings of young people's perception on the 13th Amendment, which is part of the bell ringing program. And those videos will be submitted to us, and the National Freedom Day Committee will look at those videos and pick the best of those that are up there for their content, and then put them up for a vote nationally to see which video that the people think is best And the winner will receive a $500 award from some volunteers from the Directors and Primaries Committee. Deborah Evans?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. What can I do for you this afternoon?
Huh?
Said, what can we do for you this afternoon?
Well, I told people to come to you for two things about the list and about submitting the videos to communications that they have from their Freedom Day events.
Right.
For young people. So there is no minimum or maximum amount of time frame for it. It is about the content. In the video, in the program, there's the elders' reflection on the 13th Amendment and freedom, and that could be anybody that you have. And then there's the youth perspective on what it holds for them and what they think that how they can use it and what they're going to do with it, right? So this is not bound by race or color or ethnicity because it wasn't written that way, but we know who it was written for. So that's the content about it. You can go look at the Constitution and never find the word African, Negro, or Black anywhere in it.
And if you do not have a bill, they do have some available on Amazon. If you cannot find a church or a school that has a bell for your ceremony, the bells I looked at last night, they start at about $6 and go up to $42 or $43. So you can get a handbell for a smaller event until you can find your church that has the one in the steeple. And they still can be delivered before Freedom Day.
Amazon does, and they have what we call naval bells, which are about 18-inch bells that you can attach to a pole or a wall, and you use those.
I think that's the $42 one, right?
Yeah, the 42 and 60 depends on if it's pure brass or not. Okay, so the National Freedom Day Committee meets there on Thursday, 7 p.m. right here on this channel. If you want to be a part of it, it is there. National Freedom Day is one of the days, honoring Freedom Days, that we'll be working on the legislation with Congressman Green's office for that. The National Miss Juneteenth Scholarship Program is forming right now. February, we'll be beginning our meetings. These are going to be on Wednesdays on the separate channel for the National Miss Juneteenth Scholarship Program. Star Fisher is the director. She's recuperating from a lot of stuff. She's actually feeling a lot better. She's had a lot of health challenges over the last 2 years, actually 3 years. So we hope to have a full participation. We will have a full participation this year. She's got some exciting stuff planned with some fabulous people. I'm not going to even spoil who she's got lined up for, but as far as goes, this is going to be an absolutely great event, showed out. So we are definitely looking forward to start jumping on in a couple of weeks and lining up what she's got planned for those participants this year. And who's going to be on deck with us? It is absolutely, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm just praying that everything stays together. We'll start our hope, our health together, and it's all great. So that committee will be forming, will be meeting on Wednesdays. Stay tuned if you have the program together for the National Miss Juneteenth Scholarship Program. Website prep for our Wikipedia. We have our wiki page, and Wednesdays is going to be the primary education program for getting that. Our wiki content, which you will be getting an email for. The first one of our submissions is going to be about our Juneteenth events, your Juneteenth events. your Juneteenth events. So if you have a history of Juneteenth events, i.e. especially Opal's Walk, those histories, those events, submit them to us, and we're going to get them in the Wikipedia. We're going to start with our events and then work our way through the legislation and history of Juneteenth, correcting things. So that starts on, we actually started on that last Wednesday by putting our place mark in. Tatiana Cook is one of the people leading with that particular effort. So any history, any documentation that you have on your previous Juneteenth events, organize it, and we will send out the organizing document. You will get it the way Wikipedia wants it organized. They want like an overview, and then you can go into the history. Let's say, like, if you are been doing Juneteenth in South Carolina, you put the Juneteenth organization there as which you are, how you've been doing your events, and samples of your events going back, and that you are part of the National Juneteenth. And if you have any documentation or events that have Doc Myers in it, make sure you put that in there, and we are going to categorize all that, organize it, and it's going to be ingested by Wikimedia. Okay? So that is Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Central Time that we have the education meeting. The education team is responsible for Juneteenth 101, the 101 classroom. I know that we are ready to step up to, I guess, Juneteenth 201. What are you going to call it, Jenny? Dr. Brown? Hello? Dr. Brown? Yeah, I'm mute you. Kenny Brown? Okay, and she stepped away. Dr. Brown is working on Juneteenth 201, which is a more detailed history about Juneteenth, which would be great. Also, along that lines, there's an announcement. Dr. Charles Taylor will be publishing his book, Juneteenth, his new Juneteenth book. And y'all pray for me. I am trying to get the foreword finished and together. I've rewritten it so many times, it's not even funny. I'm afraid to even show it to anybody, so I'm trying to deal with it. So just pray for me that I can get it done. I think it's the most important thing I ever write is, and I'm privileged and honored, and Dr. Taylor's been very, very patient with me getting it done, because he knows I take it very serious. So, that book will be coming out also before Juneteenth, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we mentioned it before. Visit the Juneteenth store online, JuneteenthNation.com, to get your calendars. It is 2025, and annual dues are still the same as they were 20 years ago, $60 a year, $5 a month, right? It helps us with operations. It helps us with operational costs and with some events. Last year, we were able to go through the whole year really without having to concentrate on maintaining the Uber conference line, the mailing, the online office, our telephone system. We have this basic operations cost, which we will be publishing on the website before March. So these basic operations costs are just there so that we can exist, and your $60 a year helps us do that, and it actually helped us with the National Prayer Breakfast last year. So thank you very much for everybody who contributed, and you can make your contributions. We're using Zesty again, and that is on a link on the front of the webpage. When it says make your donate now, contribution now, you can go through. Zesty is a 100% nonprofit-driven process, credit card processing system. They do not charge us a credit card processing fee, but they
So
do
the
ask
thing
you to,
is me, I want to use. We're going back and start to take an allergy pill.
they accept donations. So when you go in and you process it, they will have a general processing fee added on. But if you use to hit that dialog box, that drop down box, and choose other, you can put in $1 or whatever, $2, whatever you want to. That helps them keep operating, and it helps them on top of the government subsidy they got for working nonprofits. And on the Economics Committee, in a couple of weeks, for those who are there with your nonprofits, you will want to come because we will be talking about how to use Zephy with your nonprofit. We've been on it for a little bit over a year. I am thoroughly pleased with the operations, the performance, the security, everything they got. They are working on a great social program, which will allow you to do a lot of things. So if you have a 501c3, if you do fundraising, if you're taking in money, if you're ingesting stuff, you're going to want to use Zephy. You want to use the link and the referral from the National Juneteenth. So it's all the way around winning for everybody. So that will be about 2 weeks on the economics call. In the meantime, like I said, you can go there. There's also a link for Zephy in the agenda. So like I said, once again, if you're not getting the agenda, contact me and she'll make sure you have the right email address. Or you can search for National Juneteenth, all one word, on PayPal or Cash App, and we're there. National Juneteenth, all one word. So that's my thing for national announcements and general announcements. Does anybody have any local or regional or specific things they want to let the Juneteenth Nation know?
Good morning. Good morning. Willie Williams from Albuquerque, New Mexico. On February 1st, at the International District Library, I will be hosting a Freedom Day celebration ceremony. I'm asking that if any of the Juneteenth Nations have some information they want put on our information table, our Juneteenth information table, you can email me at JuneTeethNebraska19@gmail.com. So I look forward to it. I'll talk to you all more about it next week. And I have to leave now because I have to go meet with the library. So I'll talk to you all later. But I look forward to doing my Freedom Day celebration with a diverse crowd and possibly some of our elected officials. So, like I said, I'll get back to you all with more of it next week. And I had a very nice conversation with Anita yesterday.
National Freedom Day. National Freedom Day.
Oh, that's what did I say? I keep saying Freedom Day. National Freedom Day. And I also must remember to say National Freedom Day, Inc.
Right.
So, and I will talk with you more about it, but from the people I've talked to about it, they're more than enthused. And I'm trying to get a proclamation and something that's never been done in this region. So, y'all pray for me and continue to inspire me as I continue to inspire you guys. Blessings.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
this is Steve. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Steve, you had mentioned that on National Freedom Day, February 1st, there is going to be the ringing of the bell nationally where we can listen to the program by you online. I missed that, and I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I said probably next week, since it will be when the Freedom Day happens, wherever I'll be at, we'll be streaming the phone call from there. We'll be streaming the call, the national call from there. So when you get on, you will probably hear the bell ring.
Yes. Oh,
Right,
that's
so-
perfect. Would that be the for people, that telephone number will be in the press release where those that read it will know, I don't have a program to go to, but I can actually dial into this number and hear it?
Yes, it can be put in there. Like I said, I'm not sure where I'm at because I jumped in with our local committee to help them figure it out, and we're working on DC. So I thought I would have it figured out by this week, but they're looking at the technical program with it. A lot of the bells, all the bells are automated, right, to do the ringing that still ring, and there is a diagnostic mode that you can put the bell in to test it. So they're waiting, both the people are waiting back to figure they see it, but they don't know, they've never done it before. They know it happens when they talk to the guys, so they're hitting the diagnostics to figure out how they can press the bell and ring it manually. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, and besides Willie, and yourself, is there any other, organizations?
There's several organizations throughout, you know. They got 4 or 5 programs going in Louisiana. And I know that Lonnie and them are working hard on getting a program going with a bell ring there where you're at. So,
I'll be at that one.
Yeah. So, just hold on. It's the first year, it's the first time. We just want to get it done the best way, with integrity that we can, and it'll grow. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. I just want to be listening as well to the program and hopping on the line when you actually broadcast it.
Okay. Any other announcements? Sherry Bailey?
Greetings.
Hey, Sherry. How you guys doing down there?
I'm having some hardware problems, and I can hear you, but sometimes I can't be heard.
Oh.
So greetings to everyone.
All right.
I hear you, Shirley Bailey. I hear you.
You hear me? Thank you, Miss Opal. How are you?
Real good, real good.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Did you say that again?
I said that ought to make your day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hearing from everyone and all the great things that are going on, all of that makes me really happy. So thank you for picking me up here.
You're going to get a phone call from somebody, and I told them that that Sherry Bailey is an amazing playwright with some people, and that she could come up with a quick script for a 13th Amendment thing with Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln on the floor of the House signing the bill.
You promised someone that?
Yeah.
This so reminds me of my daughter's in the 4th grade. She comes home one day and she goes, we were studying the Civil War, and I told them that you would write a play about it. And off she walked. As if that is something that, you know, what the heck? My mom can toss that off. And I can't wait to tell her, Steve, that you have, made her prove her point, I guess.
He thinks you his mother.
He thinks I can just snap my fingers and come over
Yeah.
the script.
Yeah. My mom can do it.
What the heck? Well, I hope that I can give you what you promised, Steve. So,
Well, I'll give you some history on it, man. As long as Frederick
I know
Douglass
you
can
will.
dance. As long as Frederick Douglass can dance, I think it'll work.
He can dance. We can make that happen.
Yeah, well, Frederick Douglass was dancing, according to with my research, he was dancing as, he danced a little jig after the sign it. And well deserved, because Frederick Douglass called it in 1851. After he finally sat down and read the Constitution, he said, "This is the document by which emancipation will be wielded. It is up to the duty of every citizen of America to make politicians do what they're supposed to do, or what this document stands for." He called it a long time ago. So
See, I love the fact that you're always ready, and the history is something that people are going to be. I mean, we're embarrassing of riches in terms of what Juneteenth offers people, in terms of all the stories that have not been told, and we get to tell them in real time, and this is really exciting. 160 years. And this is where we are, and it is amazing. And I'm honored to be with all of you guys, because you're putting the work in that's going to make a difference in a big way.
You see the reason why I told her she could do it?
Sincerely.
Okay. So, any other announcements, Maryland?
And that one.
Yeah.
You got anything to let us know what's going up in Michigan?
Oh, yeah, we're working on it as we speak. So we're doing a number of things. We're actually preparing some of the Juneteenth history, the 101, and we're posting and scheduling it out through the month of February. In awareness of Black history, of course, Juneteenth history, 101. And so I'm pulling items from the national, the news clip, how Juneteenth became a national holiday, and some of our history here in the land of Juneteenth. So we're scheduling all of our release of information for the month of February. We started with an acknowledgement with for MLK Day, moving forward. So that's what we're up to at the moment. We're going to be doing Juneteenth Jazz brunch on March 22nd. We've already started to acquire some of our entertainment headliners for the June celebration. We're working on our website updates for our Juneteenth parade and all of the Saturday activities that we do, which includes the parade.
So that is...
And vendors. Lot.
Okay, that is absolutely wonderful. Black History Month. If you have the agenda, if you have the past agenda, you need to look at the attachments. And on the attachments is a program for the first official Juneteenth month, right? For the first official Black History Month. And in there, you will see events that, once again, I thought everybody knew it, but here's what they're going to call it, and here's what the events that were happening most of the nights, that first event. And they weren't have to do with, instead of just Juneteenth Jazz for culture and arts. So everybody hold on, here's what they were called. And until I told somebody, I just thought everybody knew, but you might not have heard, right?
Right.
Nights of Negritude.
What?
Nights of Negritude. Negritude. Nights of Negritude. Dr. Pritchard, who was a classically trained and the first Black recorded, or American Negro recorded pianist, classical pianist, brought in great artists from around the country and the world to perform, African artists to perform arts and music and other things, and what was commonly known at that time as Nights of Negritude as part of the American Negro movement. So these Nights of Negritude were brought in as what we would use Juneteenth jazz. Right?
Okay.
So it is a play upon that Juneteenth jazz
Okay.
and making that work. So, but that is the historical point upon it, and you can Google it, Nights of Negritude. And if you look in the documentation, which will send the attachments for the agenda, when we send it out, you will see that there are about 20 nights of negritude of performance around that of cultural arts in the first Black History Month event.
Okay. Thank you.
Once again, you're a wealth of information, Steve. A wealth of information.
Yes, yes. Definitely. We'll follow up on that.
And so the group should keep him covered up so he don't catch cold.
Hey, Miss Opal.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Marilyn.
You need, Marilyn, you all need to keep Steve covered up so he don't catch cold.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate this group of people, you know, and your attitude and your perseverance, you know, and it is a special thing, and there is great things still on the horizon and what we have before. So let's get that going. Before we go into our subject of conversation, one more time, we get your calendars. Opal, I talked with the young woman you got. I need to call her back and get the information for us so we can get it taken care of. But our calendars are a great tool this year. They're already off to be printed, so we need to sell up to more boxes to cover our costs. You can get there by going to JuneteenthNation.com, click on calendars. The first box is $3.25 a calendar, and the calendars can be resold at $10 to $20 a calendar. You know, and I've had people give $25 and $30 for the calendar just because they appreciated what they did, what we were doing. So it's a great fundraising opportunity, and I emphasize that much. We are not, the National doesn't make money off of it. We are doing it to provide spreading the news, spreading information, and a chance for some of the small organizations to take, you know, even if they've got $300, $400, $500,000, if they put a little bit of work behind that, they can not only spread about their event, but they can make a little bit of money at the same time. That's what we're here to do, to help that. So, help us by continually getting a good price and even a better price on the calendars by ordering them early, right? Ordering right now. So you can go there by either clicking the link on the agenda that you got, or you can go to JuneteenthNation.com, click on the calendars, and order your calendars in bulk right there, right? If we don't recognize your name, or that you're a member of this stuff, and somebody tries to buy the calendar in bulk, it won't be proper, right? So this is just for us. Right? And then after we get the first group of calendars out, we'll open it up to the general public. All right. Yep.
I've got two things I've got coming up in the next the next month or so. There are members of the Nevada community, the Las Vegas community, that are interested in Juneteenth history and conversation. So I am going to use the conference line on the 25th of this month, which is next Saturday, and on the 15th of February. I'm going to have a conversation following the forum. It'll be at 2 o'clock Vegas time, which would be 4 o'clock Central time. Like invite any of the members if they want to join in and help me explain Juneteenth to the Las Vegas community. The lines will be open. We're actually doing a series of 7, so it's going to be 2 on the conference line, and then we're going to follow up with 1 in March, 2 in April, and 2 in May, and take the topics forward. If it's a success, we'll continue it to the end of the year. but they want to know about our history, and we have a wealth of stories to tell, a wealth of corrections to make. And of course, Steve, I really would expect you to join in at least one of those sessions, because as they say, you do have all the stories. So
Well,
we'll talk
the,
about,
Feb-
okay, yes.
the February 15th is a special day for me, and I don't know where I'll be at. Symbolically, I think I will probably be, if I can be, I'll be in Denver. And then on my way to New Orleans or Louisiana, with Reverend Freeman. But for people in Denver, Colorado, February 15th is Daddy Bruce Randolph's birthday. And if you heard me talk, Daddy Bruce Randolph is the father of the Juneteenth movement from the Arkansas-Oklahoma border in Colorado. Daddy Bruce is the reason why Denver ended up like it is, such a ubiquitous city. You know, he started out at his most, at the height of its time, when, you know, Denver was late because it was isolated, so that the federal government came in and forced immigration in Denver in 71, 72. They were like, hey, you know, you guys over here completely segregated. And it was madness, you know, people were blowing up school buses, wasn't us. You know, we have school buses in our neighborhood, they had to come and get us. And so Daddy Bruce switched from doing his giveaway. He still did that, but you know, November in Denver ain't really the best time to be outside your car just talking with people. Especially back then, it was like, hey, you know, just drive through, get your turkey and roll on. So he, you know, kicked back up Juneteenth down at the 5 Points Community Center, which was the heart of jazz and culture and arts for not only the Black community, but all the Denver community. They had rival any place you could go in Chicago, New Orleans, or New York with the clubs, because a lot of musicians back in the day stopped in Denver. It was the central, you know, 5 Points was the only place you could really stop at once you left Kansas City. Until you got to, well, you couldn't even, until you got to the west side of Las Vegas. You know, if they had room, but then you had to wait to get to California. It was not like places you could stop and find a hotel room and get something to eat. You know, it was 5 Points was it. They would load up and then they would head out across the Rockies like the old pioneers. So 5 Points was a hub in Denver for a lot of artists and musicians. So that's the reason why just guys like Al McKay and Philip Bailey, you know, come out of Denver, Colorado. You know, Philip Bailey lived right in that neighborhood, you know, right in that neighborhood. So Daddy Bruce Randolph moved Juneteenth down there and eventually moved to City Park, where everybody in the whole city came, and once everybody got together and was eating this barbecue and listening to music and realized that they had those two things in common, everything else just kind of worked out. So people who didn't work it out moved to the places where you hear the shootings at. Arvada, Northridge, Inglewood with an E, Aurora. Those are the people who couldn't take having the city with a black or Latino mayor or somebody of color as the chief of police. All that was sprouted direct from Daddy Bruce. So when they came through and they built a street and then Martin Luther King Street in the middle of Denver, but most black people were like, well, you know, Dr. King never even came here. Daddy Bruce is our man. They forced him to Wellington Webb was like, okay, yeah, we're going to name the street Daddy Bruce right next to it. So that's February 15th. And his example of putting Juneteenth to work for the community as a unifier, just nobody did it better.
Can I ask for Benita to give us a quick update on what's happening in California?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened in California. Altadena burned down, and that's wrong. That's Nita,
I was gonna start with you, and then I said, figured I should start with someone who's actually there, but I know you've got your fingers in the pot too, so please give us an update from our side of the story that doesn't make the news.
Altadena burned. And so you guys might not know, Altadena is like, you got Baldwin Hills, which is the richy black people, and Dara Heights, which is the really richy black people, right? This, that I've got to live there. But Altadena was like, it was the middle class black people, the middle class neighborhoods. It's the quintessential, ranch style houses in a very quiet neighborhood. Altadena was just like 85% black, and it's, very nice. You never really heard of anything going wrong in Altadena. You didn't hear it on the news. You didn't hear about gangbanging or shooting. It was a peaceful, it was a haven in the middle of all the madness in LA. And it was 80% black plus. Nita?
85%, and we don't make the newscast when they're interviewing people.
Did they interview the Altadena? I mean, I heard from people that live there. That's how I heard.
Right. Well, we know you have probably have relatives and friends in every city and every state in the country, but yes, we would expect that. We would expect it. It's a shame. It is a shame that it has occurred, and will they be able to rebuild, or are they going? Is that their way of moving us out of that community?
Well, the current path right now is that they are going to allow for rebuilding of the same footprint with no permits. So in other words, if your stuff got burned down and you need to get it rebuilt back, they're not going to send you through the permitting process. If you're going to keep the foundation, which isn't destroyed, and everything that's there, then you can rebuild back with no permits. That was a very smart move. They extended that first to Malibu, and now they're extending it to the rest of the county that's affected. But before they do that, they got to get the fires under control, which they're not.
Keep them on that side of the mountains. I'm sorry, don't let them over here.
I created a funny parody, Hollywood's Burning, off the song Hollywood's Swinging.
I used to joke about the problems that happen in California. I used to say that I was going to wake up one morning and find out that I was on lakefront property or oceanfront property because California had fallen off the cliff. But they have had so much trouble in the last year or two. I don't even make that joke anymore. It's getting too close to being the real truth. Between the earthquakes and the fires and the earthquakes, you're getting closer and closer to Nevada. And we are on the fault line here in Nevada also.
Yep. Well, listen, I went to the National Cathedral to check out the bell ringing there, and they still got the scaffolding up trying to repair the tower from the earthquake 12 years ago. Because nothing was fixed. I mean, you even now going to the Washington Monument, it's kind of shaky. You can still see the cracks in it because they weren't prepared for building for earthquakes. All right. On to our conversation for today. Morphalic. Morphalic. Oh, okay. That's all right. Just stay right there. Linda Gray out of Las Vegas. Is that Linda?
Let me.
Who?
Okay, I'm on the phone, Steve.
Oh, no, I just checking in, man.
Oh, okay, good enough. New Jersey in the house.
Okay. Reggie?
Hey, I'm here. Happy Steve.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. Sorry I've been gone for a bit.
Not a problem, man. We still trading on. If you don't know, we will have a bill number right into the new Congress gets together.
What sponsors do we have?
We've got two sponsors on the house. Billy Thompson from Mississippi and Don Bacon from Nebraska.
Okay, cool.
So we will we're working out the details. They're actually it's crazy, but Congress is actually working right now trying to get some things, final things done under the Biden administration. So
okay, I thought they were done with it. There's majority helping now. I didn't know they're still doing any of that.
Oh man, they are working all the way up until the last minute. I was in Davis's office. I was talking to his chief of staff, and he's like, "Hey man, we're working on Monday. We're working on Monday morning. We're working Sunday." Everybody, staffers are in. We're working.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get the last few things that we want to get done before, and we're working up to the stroke of the pen.
Okay. Cool.
So, but they guarantee said, it's politically they're like, hey, we're gonna push this and bring it on the session of the 120th Congress, which I'm good with. Not a problem.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So,
Wait, Steve, I invited Linda Gray, and if you would welcome her, she's on the line.
I did. I said, hello, Linda, and I unmuted her.
Oh, great. Okay. Hello, Steve. My name is Linda Gray, and I'm so glad to be in attendance at this meeting. And I want to say hello also to Miss Opal. If you're still on the line, Miss Opal, hello. And I'm also a part of the National Freedom Day with Benita. We got a lot of work to do. Thank you.
All right. I know that name from someplace, Linda. You're in the Dallas area?
Yes, I am. And guess what? You probably recognize this name from the movie star that played Linda Gray. Well, he is the real Linda Gray on the film Dallas.
No, I didn't from there. But do you know Lonnie or Andre Johnson?
I know a lot of black folks.
Andre Butler.
I do.
Andre Butler.
Let's just say.
Tell them a little bit about what you do. Tell them a little bit about what you do, please.
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, because I love this.
With the core and
Yes. Okay. First of all, yes, my name is Linda Gray. I'm a nonprofit consultant for about over almost 30 years. Born and raised in Midland, Texas, which is one of the oil towns booming. And also I serve as a certified business mentor through the SBA, through the organization called SCORE. And then I'm also a member of the entire state of Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce. And I do a lot of grant writing, which I'm fundraising. I hear that I love the platform of the fundraising of the calendars. And let's see, I guess that's about all about me.
Do you know Valerie Ballard?
Yes, she's a wonderful lady. I think she's the one that has the tiny homes.
The tiny home, gift compound, yeah, and I think you guys did that. That's where I heard your name from. I will take
Oh, and you know what? Yeah, she is sort of like a client because it's so important for us, particular in this 2025 year that's here. I mean, we should be already on the ground running in economic development platforms, and I think this is a awesome opportunity for us to support our efforts and then our local branches in the states and everything to help them locally fundraise themselves so they can actually be more profitable in, and then also, you know, building our capacity. And so this organization here, I'm interested, and I'm so glad that Benita invited me to be a part of this, Steve, and anything that I can do to support this effort because I'm interested in also. I heard you mention political stuff. When we say political, what I mean by political, in other words, making change through the system. You know, it's so important for us to contact and communicate with all of our state legislators, our state representatives, our Congress people, and so I play a great role in that. I love that because people give to people, and then once we notify and let our legislators who we vote and put in office, we need to communicate with them more because the majority of them don't know that we need them or they need us. And so I'm just so excited. One little quick story, and I got to get off because I talk a lot, Steve. I ran for, used to live in Mobile, Alabama, and I ran for a district council person there in that district. And I tell this story because I never give up. I received out of the 25,000 people that lived in that district, I received only 128 votes. And from that 128 votes, it started me on the pathway to really serve our community. So anyway, I'm off. Thanks a lot. And looking forward to communicating again.
Well, I appreciate your work and your effort.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining.
Thank you.
All right, well, listen, I'm going to go over our subject real quick, which is what, how did I phrase that? Oh yeah, what in the Juneteenth is going on? And this gives me a chance to recap for those who don't know, and to put it back out, what in the Juneteenth is going on. Let me put it together with you. Juneteenth, as quoted by Wiggy Brodnick's All Things Juneteenth. And that is such a profound saying when you come into consideration of where we're at. It's also before Black History Month was created in inspiration from Juneteenth by Dr. Pritchard, who was on the founding board of directors of this organization. Dr. Myers, who we always talk about, was relentless with doing things, tutored Benita Benitez, who became the National Freedom Day, Inc., and I'm working with the National Freedom Day Association because they'll get on board. You've got to understand when it comes to this particular information and this particular history, these particular truths that we have, right? We have much inertia to overcome. It's slow for change to take place. And when that first push isn't a legitimate push. What do I mean by that legitimate push? It's a push to what Dr. Jones calls a contrived scenario, the history, the information that's given out. It grows with that bad push, right? That's the Juneteenth story of the Great White Hope riding into an island on his horse and reading a proclamation from a balcony that doesn't exist, right? But the push of knowing that over 9,000 black men took off from Virginia on May 25th aboard ships on the way to stop an incursion by the French into Texas to keep the Civil War alive and defend America. And along the way, they ran into a storm on first to land. That contribution to your own liberty is not something that's normally encouraged. All right? So, as I said before Juneteenth, there were English white men and everybody else. After Juneteenth, which was the gateway, was for freedom, for free everybody. And women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, everything else came after that initial foot in the door at Juneteenth. And once again, Frederick Douglass stands out because he said, we have to break the mold first. Can't take everybody in with us. We got to go first. And that's what happened. And the story is even more convergent with us because of our close association with Calvin Pearson. How did Juneteenth take place? It's just as important as how do we end up being in chattel slavery when we came here on a pirate ship, right? When we landed here, and at one particular point in time, we owned land, buildings, businesses, and other people. That part of the history. That part of the history turned around. We just converged here with this group, right? Sherry Bailey? Sherry.
Yes.
And Benita. Benita.
Yes, I am, sir.
Yes. I said Benita.
Okay.
You did see that post I sent you, Sherry, that Benita sent you of you, Doc, Calvin, and Benita all together. Did you see that?
I did not. I thought they didn't have hardware problems.
Oh.
When did that get sent and to where?
I sent it to you by text message. Go ahead, Benita.
It's August 2011 in Hampton, Virginia.
And you sent me that?
Oh, no, ma'am. I sent it to Steve.
And I sent it to you, Sherry.
In 2011?
No, I sent it to you.
I kind of don't remember that.
Okay. Well, hold on. I sent it to you. I sent it to you on October 17th. And it has on it Hampton, Virginia, site of first landing, occupied territory, dispelling the myth of Jamestown panel discussion in preparation for the 400th anniversary of the National Monument dedication. On it, the Reverend Ronald B. Myers, CUMD, National Juneteenth, Sherry Bailey, Juneteenth VA, Benita Benez, Global Slavery Remembrance Day, Calvin Pearson, President Global Slavery Remembrance Day.
Well, please resend that. I would appreciate getting that.
Okay. I'm going to resend it to you right now.
Thank you.
Yes, when you see it, Calvin Pearson is the president because at that time, Dr. Myers was mentoring me on getting the monument right, and Project 1619 had not been formulated at that time. This is what we were doing. You may not remember, but I remember you.
Well, I definitely want to kind of backtrack and kind of look at the chronology of, how we got to where we are today. I've been formulating, getting feedback in terms of Fort Monroe being set up as a think tank. We desperately need something of that nature in terms of as we move forward, because so much is going on, and we kind of pay attention for a couple of days, and then that falls off the headline, and something else takes space, and we don't really get to work on anything in terms of looking for new policies and solutions. And so Fort Monroe, because of the history of that location, is just wonderfully qualified to be that kind of space where we have a think tank that would be reflective of the history of how the nation was started. And basically, the nation we are today started in Jamestown in 1607, and then was set in 1619 with the arrival of those small group of people from Angola. So you're talking about something that I think is going to be, kind of a foundation in the next 160 years in terms of setting up Fort Monroe up as being that place, as you keep saying, Steve, where chattel slavery started to end in this country. It started first at Fort Monroe.
Yeah. Dave Baker.
Frank Baker.
Yeah.
Shepard Mallory. And Thompson, Robert, not Robert Thompson, his brother.
James Thompson.
James Thompson, there you go.
Right.
And you see what Fort Monroe just got notified by me a few days ago, that back in 2009, we were the ones that got Mayor Molly at the time in Hampton to create the proclamation for the first Africans that landed. And I own that proclamation, so they didn't know it, that Juneteenth was mentoring me. Dr. Myers mentored me through the whole process before he even met Calvin. And in addition, I just recently sent out to Dee and Fort Monroe and notified them in Mayor Molly's words that we were that I went to her about the 400th anniversary and the building of a memorial for the first African landing. It was no one else, but it was me that flew in and did that. And so I have pulled up that document, and I think it's shocking everyone, including Project 1619, because they were not aware of it. So I will send that to Steve, and Steve can forward that to you too, both of those documents.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, sure. And I just sent you that there, and I'll send a copy of the D too, so you get it, so you can get it out.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you for all hard work, because it is hard work.
Well, it's a convergence. It's like I said, it's a convergence. When you look at the keystones of where we are in history, this group is a convergence. And it is a key thing for us to honor National Freedom Day, to honor Juneteenth, and to honor African Landing Day. I mean, those are the things that we have to make that great impact on, and they originated in this group, because I remember when Doc was like, I'm going down there to go play. He started that with just him and a couple of guys. And they weren't even playing in the pavilion at the time out there, from what I know. So it's come a long ways, and it was something that, had to be reminded of, the importance of Juneteenth jazz and what happened in that. The study of the music back into that day and what we did, And how we did it is one of the places where, as Dr. Larry Ripley, who is, putting some stuff together for us, said they dropped off hot people. They dropped off our people and hot music was developed, and so we're looking at the origin of that. Congo Square and what we dropped off by the French in New Orleans, in that area in Louisiana is well documented, but what happened in Fort Monroe and Virginia from that landing isn't. So it's something that we talked about. We hope that adds more history to, as Dr. Larry Ripley does that, and we were looking at that, came up as part of our conversation.
Yeah, it's a rich tapestry that we are able to deal with here, so good stuff.
Greatness. All right, everybody, get your calendars, JuneTeenthNation.com, click on the calendar link, order your box of calendars, or 2 boxes if you can. Get your calendars up, let's get this going. Last year, we were over the hump, thanks to Calvin Pearson and Project 1619, they shared the cover with us, right? So, we were connected. And the history is connected. And so, one thing I want to do, Opal?
Yes.
How's the museum coming down there? What's going on?
It's I guess you said so. It really isn't. But they gave me a house, and so they haven't done anything. But the museum is supposed to be up and running in 26.
Well, we're coming down there for the annual meeting in 2026.
Okay. So let's hope we have that building up when you get here. And while I got the flow, I need to say to you young people, and you're old young people because you're in 98. Remember that? We have got to undergird, pray, do everything we can for Kamala Harris. We've got to encourage her. So you didn't make it this time. You got to do everything you possibly can to be ready for the next time. I know she doesn't want to hear nothing about politics, but we have got to make her aware that we depend on her, and we're going to do everything we can because Trump's much older than she is. He has these outbursts that could bust a blood vessel. She needs to be ready, and you need to let her know that. And she needs to know that we expect her to be the next president of the United States. You just don't give up. And somebody's got to convey that to her.
Who do you think that needs to be? Who do you think that needs to be saying something to her? I think you were a great cheerleader there.
Well, I don't mind, but I know that the others of us need to be aware that this is what needs to be done. And we need to be getting our votes together now. We don't need to wait till the week before the voting. We need to start now getting people ready for the fact that we want her to be president of the United States. And let them know there are other countries that have women who head their countries. This is new.
Right.
And they're going to have to change some hearts. They're going to have to change some people's minds. They're going to have to make the white men realize that their wives been telling them what to do for God knows how long.
Well, Opal,
a black woman, huh?
I love you, and I love the American system. And I think I thought it was completely unfair, the position that they put her in the first place. I think that the problem is that, Opal, I know, but Opal, that leadership of the Democratic Party has a lot of work to do. And the way that just singular her lap and her feet is not equitable. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do with it. And I'm on the Hill every day, and they are introspectively trying to figure out exactly what's wrong. It wasn't just her, and I would not put the burden on her. I don't think that the way that they went about it, anybody could have done any better. Okay, it was just a bad situation coming, which I kept trying to explain to people. It just wasn't right. I think that pray for her and for her peace and for God for her to do what she wants to go forward is a necessity, because she was just as victimized as more than anybody else at this whole situation by how the whole everything went down. From the late entry, you can't do that with 3 or 4 months and think that you're going to make an effective campaign when
you can.
Yeah, you can. And you think what we're facing now is better than what we are leaving? That's nonsense, Stephen.
I'm not saying none of that. I'm not saying either one of those. What I am saying, you can't on the national level. It's not going to work. It didn't work. I'm not saying either one of those.
Okay, so that didn't work. Let's make it work next time.
Let's make it work.
Those things that we need to do, tell us what we need to do.
So that's
one of the things we need to do is we need to, like, 9 months out, start the local level in terms of getting people registered. The Republicans put their thumb on the scale and made sure that they got rid of a lot of people who would have voted but didn't vote because of the shenanigans that went on in the months before election. Things like they cut down things like Sunday voting. They cut that down. We went from 6 weeks to like 2 weeks or something like that. They did also, they closed up polling locations. They threatened workers, and they did all sorts of things that made the vote less than it would have been under ordinary circumstances. So that's one way to go about it. Another way also is to, like Ms. Opal was saying, let them know what we want, and then make sure that we start going after it.
Now,
to say that it can't be done
now.
Yeah.
We need to be getting people registered
I will tell you this right now, okay? I will tell you this right now as a person that I'm saying. Every single day, except for the last 2 days since my mom came home from the hospital, every single day I've been on the Hill. I've been in meetings. I've been in conversations with the top leadership there.
And your point is,
they ain't figured out what they're going to do yet. They ain't figured it out.
Let them get ourselves together now. We don't have to wait to find out what they gonna do.
We gotta stop letting people smell stuff.
We need to register people to vote now.
And
right.
The thing though, we still have an election here in North Carolina where this Supreme Court justice, who's being the biggest baby other than that newly elected president of ours, right? He's trying to disqualify 60,000 votes because he lost by 734. And I am sick of his whining little behind. I need you to go sit down, prepare for the next election, but you lost. Stop trying to get rid of people who legitimately, when they went to vote, had to show ID and everything to vote, but now you're trying to get rid of them because you lost and you think this will help you win. Like, this is the kind of crap that's ridiculous. We're saying, you know what, we're going to accept the outcome of the election. Then guess what? Accept the outcome. Stop doing the madness with the stealing and the creeping and the cheating. Cut all of that out. You're making people not believe in the democratic system. And you're welcome, and you're very happy to do that kind of nonsense. But this is ridiculous. And this is what we're going to continue to see when we have unruly, lawless people sitting in office.
Well, now we fired off our subject, but I will go back again and want to say again that at the grassroots level locally, there is the ability to do some pre-prep work. That I will guarantee you that at the top of the Democratic leadership right now, they are still analyzing what's going on and where they have to go. And I would wholeheartedly agree to pray for people because we are all Americans in this. Here's the first thing we got to do. First thing we got to remember is enter our conversation. Number two is that it is leadership that does make the strategy, that does make the plan on what's going on. And you will be surprised at what people initiate in the beginning of their own and how people respond to it. I'm not going to go into it right now, but everything isn't what it seems at the beginning, right? The one thing I will tell you that I know for a fact, that at this particular time, what you're going to see come out is not going to be the red party or the blue party. Over this next middle month, you're going to see the purple people coming out. And the vast majority of our legislators on Capitol Hill, I don't know about every other country because you got different crazy stuff going on regionally and locally. But I know that those people sitting on the Hill, the vast majority of those people are down the middle, right? And the only way the stuff is going to get done, the way it's situated is, those are the people who are going down the middle. Everybody on the extreme left or right, we can't listen to you right now. We just can't. The people in the purple in the middle are going to plow down for the next, I say, 5 to 6 months and get stuff done. And then there's going to be some extreme stuff pop back up as these next elections come back up. And you will hear the extreme right yelling. You will hear the extreme left yelling. And I don't know what the people in the middle who, can get in the same elevator and go eat lunch together and then sit down and talk and have some sense without being criticized or ridiculed because they're talking to the other side. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep that together. But that's what I'm seeing that's going to be taking place on the Hill right now, despite what everything, the pundits and everything. This is the everyday stuff. This is when you're in the Longburn building, you're in the Rayburn building, you're in the Hart building, and you see the people who are doing what they're doing, right? They're realizing that they got to do because it's coming down the line. And the way it's coming down the line.
Can I just add, in 1860, the Republican Party had its first candidate, Abraham Lincoln. And this is where we are now, is that the Democratic Party has to reformat itself and be a real true big tent. And when you're a big tent, you have to cover a range of, of issues. And they're not prepared to do it. One of the biggest mistakes they made was not allowing the Palestinian and Gaza folks to be on stage at the Democratic Convention. Because if you're a big tent, then everyone needs to be able to have a voice there. And that's not what's happening here. So there's going to be a restructuring of the Democratic Party. And so it may not be Democrats and Republicans to create a purple state, but a new party that would be able to step into the space there and represent, again, a big tent.
Well,
call them social Democrats or whatever.
Well, what I said to them, and what I've been talking to the legislators, when I talk about, because I've talked to the historian of the Senate, and I've talked to the records and the sergeant at arms in the House, right, and doing my own research. I explained to them the importance of what is going on 160 years ago. At 160 years ago, really, even at this time, it was the most raucous time ever in the congressional government. The House had been fighting for months, several votes. Nothing was taking place but the 13th Amendment. Everybody, it was a complete disarray. And it had been like that for about since the war started. America's battling, they're at war, people are arguing and fighting. Nothing, it was greater chaos than it is now. 160 years ago.
And it's important to remember that history, but it's also important to, as Ms. Opal was saying, we need to be active now, action now in the moment.
Right.
2025 is where we are, and that's
how they
where we got
came
to be.
together, but how they came together to pass this bill and what came afterwards is what I'm leading up to. Is what was there, because they did pass this bill, and they did do it without actually killing each other. And the very next day, Lincoln signed the bill. And through all that fighting and chaos, it was a hoorah, even though it wasn't unanimous. So there's hope. My part that I am telling is there's hope. Now, there could be that restructuring than what they might do. I told you, they're not. I've talked to them. Hakeem was supposed to be the savior, and then he was this. You're placing your too much emphasis on individuals, right? And you've got to be able to address what the people are doing. And of course you're right, because they have that big tent, that global perspective. And if they ignore that one part, they get defeated by another part. And sometimes you got countering factors inside that big tent, and you got to negotiate it. You got to navigate it. But I know that all could come happen. But just from right now, going on the hill, I will be at State of the Net next week. I just was at the Carnegie Mellon too, where they were just talking about that, and it was for the first time I ever seen about 50-50 on both sides of people and staffers there. Usually these events tend to be one way or another way. On one side has their event, and the counter has their counter event on the side. So you might have the Congressional Internet Caucus Advisory Academy do a State of the Net event, which will talk about the network, not only the internet network, but the people in positions throughout the government. And that would be always usually heavily Democratic, right? But looking at the registration this time coming in, because State of the Net is ran like with the IGS, Internet Governance Foundation USA, which is sponsored through the Internet Society DC, which I am still the president of, right? So you look at the registrations, you're seeing people from both parties coming into this to events that were usually one way or the other, right? So when you have an event down on Capitol Hill that's dealing directly with, let's say, technology and the election, how did this technology affect the election? How did this technology affect the election? Which these have been going on for a while. Now you're seeing people from the middle offices that come in, like the Don Bacon's offices, right? Like the Benny Thompson's offices. You see those people in the same place, sitting in the same room, right? And when you go to the hearings, it's there. So that's what I'm talking about is happening right now. And that recently just really accelerated after they reaffirmed Mike Johnson, and that came from, of course, from the top, like, okay. So that's a signal that a lot of that.
See what you started? See what you started?
Yeah.
I hear him. But I'm saying that I don't give a damn what they're doing on Capitol Hill. I'm talking about black people need to start today to get together to be sure that woman is elected in 4 years. I don't care what them white folks doing. We need to get together.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. That's what it takes us to. Well, everybody, great to have you. Oh, will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you give us a closing prayer? Will you give us a closing prayer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Father, you know we need you. You know we need you, Father. And we depend on you. And you've always been with us. You never let us suffer so much that we couldn't help ourselves. Show us the way. let us know. Don't let us decide that the enemy has won. Show us what to do. Tell us what to do. That we have the opportunity to get a woman, a black woman, in the White House in the next 4 years. So we have to look at it. I don't know who has the plan. I don't. But I believe if we work together, this could happen. So show us the way, Father. Tell us what we must do. Help us. Help us, Father. These are my prayers, my ask, in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, everybody. Like I said, get to your committee meetings if you're there. And JuneteenthNation.com. Order your calendars. Get your calendars. Opal?
Yeah.
Call that, I can't, your granddaughter back and get the information for her so she can take care of that stuff. I'm going to call her in a few minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
I had a little detour.
I want my calendars as soon as I can get them.
Okay. Will do. Will do.
All right.
It's time to start putting in your request for proclamations for June.
All right.
Okay. All right. Do you want to bring that up? We can handle that, put a segment in next week for that too again. Okay.
Right.
Plan for it.
So, we're leaving this meeting, and we aren't saying anything about how we can help.
Well, we got a couple of we got a couple of issues that we're trying to get done with the bell ringing campaign and some other things. But voting is a very important part of what we're doing. As a matter of fact, Senator Connie Johnson is in the area. She's at a women's march in D.C. right now. I told her I'd meet with her. She's interested in talking about the same thing with a plan. So we move calculated, you know.
And so the next meeting will you have something in place that we can begin to use?
I don't know if I can commit to that to Opal, but I will talk to Connie, see what she wants. I will let her know where you're at. Voting and registration voting in politics is very important.
I don't even know I don't know that I'm talking voting. I'm talking getting people together to understand what needs to be done. I ain't talking about.
Right.
We got to talk to the people. The people need to know what we're doing.
Right. They need to know what we're doing, but to get people elected is to first get them involved in the politics and the process. And that is critical. I mean, every time I talk to Bobby Seale, when he calls me, that's the only thing he talks about. He doesn't talk about anything else. He just talks about us moving in the system. Either whether it be a political caucus, a political party, doing something to stand up in the system. And it's something that I'm fighting for. And I'm doing it at a level that I've taken the initiative on kind of myself to do it. And that's to start with our leaders from Capitol Hill. Our leaders are not athletes. Our leaders are not musicians. They're not actors. Those people are selected. They're not elected. Our elected leaders from Capitol Hill are the people who make policy real, and they can't get their act together. The Congressional Black Caucus has never had a single Republican member in it. And they call themselves representing us, when I know for a damn fact that the vast majority of black businessmen who are small independent bars, they are real black, but they vote Republican. That's how we got more Republican members in Congress now than ever before. Some of them extreme or not, but they're black first. We can't even get them to act right. So we're going to do better than we can. Like I told them point blank, I'm from Inglewood, California. If the Crips and the Bloods who shot each other on sight can put their guns down and come to the middle of the streets and stop fighting with our elected officials on Capitol Hill can, we got a bigger problem on our hands. We got a bigger problem on our hands. They got to be unified. And that's what I'm trying to do with February 1st. Is get their butts all in one room and agree on the 13th Amendment, and then for the National Juneteenth Prayer Breakfast, have their butts in the same room again. So if we're going to be talking about getting some stuff and electing somebody like that, we got to start by getting our black people on the Hill, getting their ass to march at least the same direction, because they put their party over their blackness every single time. I have this point-blank conversation with several of them, including Ms. Clark, who's the current president of the Congressional Black Caucus, less than a week. You know, I'm like, hey, Black History Month started in your backyard. I need X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C, and you need to do D, E, and F. That's where it starts at. Real core, with our elected leaders. Not some people selected by a group of people that say you can make money for me, which is all the musicians, the actors, and the athletes, and the pundits who are supposedly our leaders. All right. Brother Reggie?
What's up?
I appreciate you, man. And
you need anything from me? Any help?
Nah, man, where you at? You in Philly or you in Atlanta?
I'm in Philly, yeah. I used to have my old Atlanta phone.
Okay. Now you need to come on, man. And tell us about your products, man. You still in the vinegar?
Yeah, still manufacture vinegar, yep. Fruit vinegar.
Huh?
Yep, I still manufacture my vinegar, yep. I've scaled up a lot, I do a lot of bulk stuff now, but yeah, I manufacture organic fruit vinegars. My company's called Supreme Vinegar.
I know what your company called. You need to come on and talk about it, man, because, you know.
You on the call?
Huh? Yeah, I want you to do it on Saturday on the call. Yeah, I want you one day to talk about it, man. Because Doc, if you roll with Doc and Doc approved you, then that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, been around a while, haven't I?
Yeah, man, you just ain't the coin guy, man. You the doctor is to talk about your vinegar, man. So, you know.
Yeah, I talk about it. Yeah, I can send some people samples too if they want some. Yeah, do like organic.
Matter of fact, I think, yeah, we got that picture of you on the subway train with Doc. Well, we didn't see that year.
Oh, wow, this was a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Want to do it next week or something?
Yeah, next week, man. That'd be good. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's no Black history without Black health.
That's true. That is very true. I can tell people, the majority of the vinegar business in the U.S. was once controlled by Black people is only briefly. It was when Bob Johnson, BET, part of the equity group, had bought the largest vinegar manufacturer in the country. They owned it for like 5 years. Now
Really? I remember when Bob delved into that.
Yeah, it's sold it to Denver. Yeah, back then you say a majority of the vinegar industry was black owned for that those 5 years. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah,
he's in a lot. So I can definitely cover that next week. The benefits and all that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. And how we can get a hold of it, and then if it's cool, man, we'll put a link to your store on the nation page.
Hey, okay, that'd be great. Yeah, I gotta fix it. There's some problem with the code, but I'll fix it this weekend. Make sure I fix it up.
Okay. Cool beans. All right, man. Listen, I'm out of here.
All right. Well, have a good day.
Everybody be safe. All right.
You all too. All right.
you.